What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, got some more stuff to talk about. More stuff. It's not Fallout, but it's just things. Now, like I said before, I promised to go through the Sarah Bond statement, which some people have, some people haven't. But I'm finna gonna. So let's do that real quick. This is from Pure Xbox because I was too lazy to find I think it was on LinkedIn or I forgot where she put it. But I was like, yeah, it was on. I think it was LinkedIn, but I didn't go there. I came here anyway. Let's read through it real quick. The fact that it's in a weird font bothers me. I don't know. It's just harder to read. But whatever. I can still read. I could read. So, this is a statement that should have been there on the Friday or whenever they ghost or stealth dropped all the statements. And like I said before, my theory is that she just wasn't ready and she was going to write it over the weekend because they were going to release everything on Monday, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, screw IGN. That's all I'm saying. Here's the statement in full. The incredible, that's better. Wow. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together over the past 8+ years. PC and cloud gaming are growing faster than ever. Our next console is well underway. Yeah. And together we've helped lay the foundation for a more open gaming platform that spans devices and reaches players around the world. Basically, what they've been doing, sure. I'm so sad, don't leave. When we announced our intention to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we've navigated that moment together and positioned the business for what comes next. We took on some of the biggest challenges this organization has ever faced and did it as one team. I was watching King today, and he was talking about, I think I was watching one of his older, like a day ago video, but I was also watching it live, and he was talking about Sarah and how she was always saying we, and they said, "Oh, I sound French," or was it? You know what? That might have been Alex. I might be conflating the two. Anyway, back to it. With that, I've decided that this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally. We're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry. She ain't lying. And I'm energized by what's ahead. This moment also presents a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership to guide the team into the next chapter. I've had the privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks, and we've planned for this transition. And I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. She brings deep technology and commerce experience, along with a strong track record of building and scaling platforms that the world uses. Xbox deserves this. I'm excited to see her lead this next chapter of our team. For our team, I'll remain as a special advisor to Asha to help ensure the smooth transition and to set the organization up for continued success. Now, that whole paragraph right there flies in the face of what King was saying. Now, I agree mostly what King usually says, but this is like, he was saying that Sarah was fired and blah, 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 and I'm like, no, she didn't get the job. Asha got the job that she wanted, and she was like, well, I guess I'm just going to bounce, basically, just to simplify it. But these words don't sound like somebody who was fired and is like, I'm fired? Why should I stick around and help the new person who's replacing me? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. And people say, oh, this is just PR, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know about that. Although, I don't think Sarah was at the farewell thing, the party that they threw for Phil. I don't know if she was there. I didn't see her but maybe she was. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, but I mean, she's special advisor to Asha, and she's been there. They planned this thing. They planned the transition. But when I heard that, I was like, okay, so what's going on? Did she get fired? Because this doesn't sound like she got fired. This sounds like they were planning this, and boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? So, oops, sorry, I pressed the thing. Let me get out the way. Anyway, I want to thank Phil for his mentorship and friendship over the years. He's been a constant champion, consistent champion of this business and the people who make it what it is. And I've learned a great deal from the way he leads through both opportunity and challenge. I'm grateful for his trust and support throughout my time on the team. I also want to thank Satya for his sponsorship and support throughout my time at Microsoft. As I prepare to sign off, I've been reflecting on 3 simple questions I tried to use to guide my days. Did I bring my best? Did I help someone else succeed? Did I do my best work? I hope the answer has been yes for many of you. It's been a privilege to work alongside this team. Anyway, so I just want to get through this real quick because it's just, if we're taking all these words at face value, which, yes, people lie. In business, they lie, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of a feel-good campaign that's happening. This is PR. It is PR. I mean, I know that saying it's PR is a negative connotation. It's like, oh, they're lying, basically. But whenever a CEO or a person in the company talks to us, it's PR. That's what it is. Public relations. That's what it is. You talking to the public, Whether they're lying or not, who knows? But I just think she didn't, she wanted the job. She didn't get the job. She said, okay, fine, I resign. And I'm just going to go out like a classy lady, like she is. She's classy. She's got class, you know what I'm saying? She got more class than the black. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, so, yeah, there's nothing really more here. Like I said, yes, last video, everybody's up here crying about freaking, just making all these negative type of things, just squeezing the negative juice out of anything. You're like, oh my gosh, she was fired. Oh, Phil was fired. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. But let's get to the good stuff, right? So this is the good stuff. This is from Windows Central. Jazz, of course. What is Jazz short for? Jazz. I don't know. Oh, bless me. Thank me. I'm welcome. Okay. I don't want to read all of this, but I do want to give the context of her statements. So, it is down here when they start talking. In her open letter, Asha says, bring about a return to Xbox that asks exactly what that means, since it effectively implies that Xbox has begun to stray from what Xbox is. Sharma volunteered an emphasis on Xbox's core and specifically its beleaguered console platform, which has seen a few fiscals of near constant decline. Now, a lot of people have gone through this, but this, once again, it solidifies kind of, if you like there's a difference between like Phil Spencer speaking, Sarah Bond speaking. I don't even count Matt Booty. Matt Booty is just like, Satya Nadella speaking and Asha speaking. Asha's something different because of her. I think she's not going to be disrespectful, but it seems like she has a sense of humor, which is good, because that whole beep boop comment, that was hilarious. I was like, okay, you know what? I know I said this before. I was like, I like her. Just from that, right? And then as she keeps kind of doing interviews and such, I'm like, okay. And before she's like written all this, and before I've even read this or heard this or the beep boop or anything, I watched a interview of her talking about AI, whatever. I know I talked about the last video, and like how she speaks, and she's very intelligent. I was like, okay, she seems like a good person to do this. And with Matt Booty on the leash, come on. So anyway, this goes to the Xbox, return of Xbox. Quote, for me, the spirit of return to Xbox is about returning to the spirit that the team was founded on, Sharma explains. It's that spirit of surprise. It's the spirit of building something nobody else was willing to try. I've heard Renegade, Rebellion, and Fun used. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote that. Now, King said something that I do agree with, but it's kind of it's just he was just describing nostalgia, basically. He was like, that's not the words. The words are, the Xbox is a feeling. It's like when you first, when Dom, what happened to Dom? You know what? He just went through a bunch of different, like, blades. Remember the blades? You know, and stuff. And he was just basically going through different points of nostalgia surrounding Xbox, right? Specifically Xbox 360, but, you know, maybe some OG Xbox too. And so I was listening to King, and I'm like, that's okay. I got you. I understand. But what she's talking about is not about us. It's about the team. It's about the culture at Xbox. It's about Xbox, not the customers, not us. You know, you're talking about the nostalgia of remembering this and that and the third. She's talking about the attitude of the people at Xbox and how they go about it day to day, and how they say, okay, yo, we're going to make this game. It's like plow, plow, plow. And they're like, that's crazy. Let's do it. Stuff like that. Or like the commercials, right? Remember, Genesis does what Xbox don't. Genesis does what Xbox don't. That was I don't know if that was Freudian, but that was a slip. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Remember that? Yeah. That was an attitude. The attitude era of video games. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely console warring. And I think that what she's talking about is kind of less safe, less afraid to say some things that are strong and may offend people or whatever. But I think these people are smart enough. They're intelligent enough to have funny, clever writing that may offend some PlayStation fanboys or something, ponies and Donkey Unicorns, obviously. But the casual gamer won't even understand what's going on. And maybe they'll just say, oh, that's Xbox. Let's go get, Game Pass. Let's go get that. Let's put that on the PlayStation. Does my PlayStation have Game Pass? They're like, nah, you got to get an Xbox. And they're like, oh, well, then I'm going to get an Xbox. We'll see. I mean, according to everybody, she's good at acquiring user acquisition. So we'll see what she do. Blah, 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 blah. Sharma acknowledged the investment Xbox fans and customers have poured into the ecosystem over the years and seemed genuinely keen to emphasize her commitment on console hardware. Quote, I think that our core Xbox fans and players have invested up to 25 years of themselves in these universes at our console. I want to make sure everyone knows I'm committed to Xbox, starting with the console. We're going to keep meeting players where they are. The world continues to evolve and change. We're going to make sure Xbox is a great place for developers and players. We want to invest in reducing the artificial divide between different types of devices that we want to use with us. That they want to use with us. Words. I think that's going to mean a lot more investing in breaking down the barriers and keeping developers and helping developers build once and show up across different hardware experiences. For me, I believe Xbox starts with its fans and will grow from there. That's what I wanted to signal with the return to Xbox. So, I think King, I'm focusing mainly on King only because he was the most recent video I saw, but this applies to everyone. So, no offense to King if I'm, harping on what he said, but he did say this. He said, look at the or it might have been Alex. I'm sorry, I might be conflating the two because I watched them close together. But anyway, people have been saying that, she says, she says she wants to start with console, and then the next sentence is, we're going to keep meeting players where they are. The world continues to evolve and change. Oh, that means blah blah blah. I'm like, you're cherry picking things. You're not taking the whole statement into and having the context is right there, but you're deciding to take out that part and say, she said this. That means it's only going to be this. But she said the other thing too. She said she's committed to Xbox, starting with the console. What does that mean? That's what a lot of people say. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means there's going to be an Xbox console. Magnus, Ultra Magnus, whatever it's called, right? Here's my thing. And it was pertaining to the not multi-plat, but finding, showing up where people want to play and stuff like that, and the whole artificial divide and all about. And it has to do with exclusivity. Now, people are saying, and I believe King said as well, that they're not going back from like non-exclusivity. They're not gonna all of a sudden create exclusivity. They're not doing that. That bridge is already, they crossed the bridge and blew the bridge up. They can't go back. Ain't no bridge no more. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, first, they have not committed to 100% non-exclusivity, because there are games that are still exclusive, whether it's timed, Forza Horizon 6 says hello, or they take time to get there. Like, South of Midnight Avowed just came on. Starfield's supposed to come on. Maybe it's a rumor, but it's not there yet, right? So there is still exclusivity. So when you look at what's going on with Xbox and their exclusivity, there still is exclusivity. And she could just mandate and say, you know what? 6 months timed exclusive. That is the least amount of time that it will be exclusive for. It could be more. Could be a year. We'll have to see. But they could start from there, and that would push that whole Xbox first, or bringing Xbox back, or whatever she said. What was the verbiage? Return of Xbox, return to Xbox. That would help push that narrative for her, and more importantly for the hardcore gamers who she's trying to address and appease, I guess is the word. Doesn't sound right, but I mean it's correct, but I don't know if that's the word I want to. Whatever. But that's my theory. That's my kind of prediction, that it'll be like the 360. Remember the 360? It was like 6 months exclusivity, a year exclusivity on games or whatever. But everything, eventually went to PlayStation. But, Xbox had it first, Xbox had exclusive skins and stuff for Call of Duty. I don't know if they're going to do that anymore. Maybe they'll have, like they did on Soul Calibur, have different characters for the different systems. That's fine, too. People that weren't like, oh, man, I got Yoda. I wanted Darth Vader. I mean, some people might have said that. But, honestly, I had Yoda because I was on Xbox. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And I was like, ching, 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 ching. He was jumped around a lot. Anyway, so I think that world is acceptable because the games still go everywhere. It's just timed exclusive. And the thing about the timed exclusivity is like they can plan for it, and it's not something that's like forced. Like they say, okay, I mean it's planned, so it's not forced. It's just how they're creating these games. So like Forza, for instance, they're making a game for Xbox and PC. Period, right? They're saying, boom, we're going to concentrate on these two. We're going to launch those. And then we go, I mean, they're probably working on the PS5 port as well, but that's not the priority. That's not the launch day priority. So it's like, we're going to get these two out, boom, get those, and then we go and we touch up the PS5 version or whatever, and that one comes out a little later because we're not going to spend extra money to get their version done at the same time, why are they going to pay us to do that? No, and they're our op. So why should we, cater or help them out like that? It's like no. This is a console war. Y'all thought the console war was over. Console war is not over. You are seeing right now the reignition of the console. Once that next Xbox comes out, it's a new day. It's a new war. Never changes. Sorry. But it's just it doesn't. A lot of the people are scared, and they're saying things like, I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. Exclusivity. What's going on? Xbox dead. Blah blah blah. Dreamcast guy is a knucklehead. He's always been a knucklehead, but whatever. But let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah, down here. Tons of speculation. Blah de blah. Blah. I read that already. I think that I read that already. I don't remember. Xbox player $1,000 invested. I think I read that already. No, that was at the end. That's at the end. Anyway, we'll keep going. She also says, quote, "Right now, I need to learn candidly about the why of these decisions." This is kind of is interesting because you're kind of looking into what she is, like what kind of person she is, what kind of a CEO she is, what kind of a business person she is. And I like the fact that she's being open like this. And this is different from Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer was he was kind of like, it's hard to, what's the words? He was just basically out there kind of being easy. He was like being safe is kind of the easiest way I can put it. I'm not saying that he was doing it on purpose I think that's just how he is, his personality. But she's a little different. She's just being real. She feels like a person that's talking to somebody. Not like, we believe in generations. Oh, and then, we believe in generations. I play. See? Motherfucker holding controller upside backwards. Anyway, right now I need to learn candidly about the why of these decisions. What we were optimizing for, and what the data says about the Xbox strategy today. That's the honest answer. I'm looking at lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment or in short-term efficiencies and things like that. The plan until it's not the plan. That needs to be on a shirt. That somebody make that shirt, or maybe I'll make the shirt. I don't. The plan's the plan until it's not the plan. You see how a different brain can say one sentence and it negates and it stops all of the BS that basically has existed ever since Phil said, without the right context put around it, just 4 games. You say just 4 games, like, he lied, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. And then you say this, the plan's the plan until it's not the plan. That just, all of the crying and stuff dissipates away because we told you. The plan's the plan until it's not the plan. It's like common sense, but people don't, you have to say it. You got to explain it. You got to draw it out on a crayon for these ponies because they don't get it. But that's a good line. She's got a lot of good lines. And I like the fact that she's like, she wants to know why these decisions were made. Because we want to make this money. But then again, she says, but we're doing things for the long term. We're not trying to do the short term success, the short money and stuff, short money grabs. And that's kind of this whole 30% markup, what's your margin, right? I mean, that's whatever. That's a goal, but that plus the increase, it's $30 for Game Pass. In hindsight, that is a short-term money boost. It's not a long-term because they lost subs. If they would have went to 25, it would have been more malleable. It would have been more digestible for most of us, right? I'd have been like, whatever, extra $5, I'm still good. And not a lot of people would have complained. Some would have because they just want to complain about everything, but not a lot of people would have. And so I think, those are the things that she's going to look like. Why did you go to 30? Why didn't you go to 25? And then they're like, well, we got to hit the 30% margin, blah, 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 blah. And like, she's good. I have a feeling. I got a feel. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time too. It's incredibly important for me to understand that and protect that, Sharma said. I am committed to return to Xbox. I'm trying, because she keeps saying that. So is that going to be like a kind of a new thing? Is that their new MO or motto or slogan or something? I don't know, maybe internal. Excuse me. And that starts with console. That starts with hardware. You will hear more about that soon. We'll have announcements coming up. Okay, let me stop you right there. King said, I have to reference him because he said this. He said that there will not be any first-party hardware. It's going to be OEMs, aka third-party OEMs. Let's be specific because OEM means original equipment manufacturer. Okay. Which means Microsoft. Now, you can call, the Asus, Xbox, whatever, ROG Ally an OEM because Microsoft supplied the chip for it, I guess. Or, I mean, it's all semantics, but as I understand it, OEM is like original equipment manufacturer. So I don't know anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm going off on a tangent. But the point was that King believes that they're not going to have first-party hardware. I believe that they will because I think they're going to have both because it's imagine this. Xbox, let's just say they have 50 million people who bought this series consoles, right? Let's say they're planning 40 million, well, depending on the price, of course, but let's say on the high, they're like, we'll probably sell 40 million maybe. It's, just being conservative. They're usually conservative with the things that they do. So say, hey, we're planning to manufacture 40 million, to hopefully sell 40 million, blah, blah, blah. That's just them. That's just Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, in-house first-party consoles. The Magnus, made by Xbox, 40 million units. That's how many they're going to make. Then they say, yo, we got these chips, son. Asus, what's up? What you got? What you got over there? Oh, we got the Rodimus. Ours is called the Rod. Oh, really? Y'all just gonna take the... I mean, you got Magnus, Ultra, so why can't we get Rodimus? I'm just thinking. And then MSI is like, yes, we have Megatron console. That's what Xbox Megatron. That's us. Hold up. How y'all gonna get Megatron? We got Ultra. And then it's like, excuse me. And then like who's another manufacturer? Alienware is like, we have RC. It's like, wait, no, that she's not even that. She's pink. Our console's pink because it's a girl console. That's not a bad idea. I'm just joking, but it's like they could do that. They can have different levels of power and all these things, and as long as it's based off of the same platform, i.e. the SoC, there's no problem. They can have different amounts of RAM, different amounts of hard drives, SSD space, blah blah blah. And those are the different factors that would affect the price. They can also slap it into a Asus ROG Ally X2 or whatever they're gonna call it. There's a bunch of possibilities with that plan, and also still having that, like, the whole return to Xbox kind of statements that she's saying doesn't tell me that, they're not going to make any. That doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, we're going to return to Xbox. The hardware is important and the players important. Yeah, but we're not making consoles anymore. Like what? Huh? No, that's antithetical. The word you're saying is opposite of what that means. No. So what? I'm gonna have to disagree with King. I don't know what Paris's opinion is on the whole hardware thing. I do not know. But I think everyone's in consensus about the OEM situation, about the third party contribution to the Xbox army. I mean, if you think about it this way, right? Xbox themselves make 40 million. Asus makes 10. MSI makes 10. Blah blah blah. You know, all of the companies, you know, together they could possibly make like 80 million plus the 40 if it sells well. I mean, you know, so there's a possibility for them to make all these consoles and for them to be on the market and for them to sell it, and that's good. That way they don't have to incur the total cost of all those consoles made, and people have options as to what they want to do with it. And also, I was gonna say something, but I don't think. Well, I mean, there's always modders, so you know, maybe I don't know how easy it would be to mod. I mean, that's just like modding a Asus Xbox, a ROG Xbox Ally. I don't know if I mean, it's a handheld, whatever. But I just had to disagree with King on that one, respectfully, of course. What was it? Okay, I stopped in the middle. I haven't answered. You will see us collectively You will see us collectively invest here. We also know that there are a lot of players who aren't on console or our hardware, and I want to deliver great games to them too. I need to learn more about what that can look like, what decisions were made, what we need to do going forward, and I want a little bit more time and space to do that. I like what she's saying. Now, people will take that and say, "Oh, exclusives are done." Blah, blah. Like she's taking what has happened. She's looking at what they did, the previous leaders, and she's evaluating. She's saying, "Is that a good idea? Is that, you know?" Because she has her own plans and her own methodology of how to acquire more users. You know, user acquisition. That's her thing, basically, and marketing. And I don't know if I would say that Sarah, I don't know how well she is. I don't think that everything's the Xbox campaign worked out for the best. Say that. They should have. I think King said this, or maybe it was Alex, maybe both. But they should have focused more on Game Pass. Because Game Pass is the carrot. Game Pass is like, yo, even though it's $30 now, it's still the best deal. But it's a worse deal than it was when it was $20. It's still the best deal though. But it's not about if it's still the best deal. It's about the perception of what it was to what it went to and how people perceive the company. They say they're greedy, they blah, blah, blah. They blame Amy Hood for the 30%. They blame this for Phil for ruining everything. They blame Satya because of AI. I don't think they blame Matt Booty for anything. I think he has come out of this unscathed. He's just like, I'm just making the game. I gotta go to Bethesda right now. So, see y'all later. Pew. See the smoke. smoke trail. Yeah. All right. So the whatchamacallit, where we were talking about I want to deliver great games. So yeah, I mean that's the whole PC type of thing. I'm happy that she did not mention another console, although she did allude to when she says they aren't on our hardware. So I mean they could be referring to. point is, they didn't say the bad words, the P word, which is good because Phil. And I think that Xbox should probably start doing this, is stop putting that PlayStation logo on the back of their trailers. Now, I know it's transparency and people know, but that little bit of detail, that little thing that PlayStation does by omitting the Xbox logo, even though it is on Xbox, even though it's cross-platform and all that stuff, it's effective. And people are dumb. People are not going to go do the research. Somebody, one of these idiots, one of these ponies, were like, oh, well, why don't you just go? It takes 2 seconds to go Google and find out. I'm like, can I reach through the internet and slap you, please? Can I do that? Because, anyway. Mad Booty chimed in too, because he was like, clap, clap. I'm sorry. Our studio system is fully built around being first party. That's how he talks. We're not built to just be a publisher, Booty explained. It is our core to our, it is core words. It is core to our partnership with the Microsoft platform. Being involved in early hardware decisions. All the work we've done to get the games of Gears of War running great on these new devices like the Xbox Ally and so on is embedded within our structure. We're not backing away from that. We're committed to being first-party game publisher and partnership first-party platform team. Yeah, Matt, that sounds like Mad Booty. That's, yeah. And he said some things like, yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, AI. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. They have said all the right things. They haven't said anything within these couple of days, this weekend and these days following, that have thrown up red flags. Now, people are going to throw up their own imaginary red flags because they're skeptical and they hate Xbox or whatever, or they scared. But I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, fresh new eyes, fresh new flavors, fresh. We got the pit bull. He's ready to bite somebody's face off. Booty's got the muzzle on. He's ready to spin them out of existence. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, yo, this could be a dream team, if you will. These two. They did actually hire someone else as chief of staff, I believe. And I don't remember his name, but he's been at Microsoft for like 1,000 million years, so whatever. I believe he was in the AI sector too, but yeah, he's just a manager of the people. Like, hey, you working on Thursday? Say, yeah, I'm working. All right. What time you coming in though? 8:30. Yeah. Okay. You better not be late though. That's his job. So he's doing the schedule. I'm the chief of staff. He's got a clipboard. And Wanda, are you what here? Like the like his class, like the roll call, like they're in this theater taking roll call every morning, making sure everybody come to work. I'm stupid, I know. Anyway, I just read that. Our system, blah blah blah. One of the biggest issues facing on right now is finding new users. Xbox, blah blah blah. Who is this speaking here? Xbox is great. Let's see if we can see who this is. Sharma. Okay. The thing about other products that are taking off, they've built really great communities with their audiences. We're the stewards of a lot of communities, and we have been for decades. The thing that makes a community is that you build for that core. What I don't want to do is to have any creator at Xbox dilute their focus to chase an emerging community. If we want to invest in new communities, we'll look at how to do that. But it's really important that people stay true to the core when they're building. let's keep going. The thing I've learned when building platforms over my career, there's kind of two things that really make a great platform. It's the quality of the product that you deliver for the core user, and it's the integrity of the decisions that stand behind it. There's a big community at Xbox, and we'll look at the right way to serve that community. That I've never heard Phil say that. Something like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's been in his heart, and because he's a gamer, I guess he maybe took it for granted, but he never spoke those words out. He never really. I think what she's doing in her own way is kind of explaining it for everyone, and it's kind of effective because it's like, okay, it's plain English. It's not very hard to understand. We understand it. We like what she's saying because she's talking about the core. That's us, right? The graybeards, the OG Xbox, adopters, and so on and so on. Plus, if you have a newbie coming in and they're like, "Oh, what's up with this Xbox?" and she reads all this and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. We'll see what happens." And then at that point, it's just about what they put out and how beautiful the console is. If the console looks like I want to put that in my living room, I just want to put it on my living room and then have lights and not even play it. It's so beautiful, I don't even want to play it. That's what's up. That's how the 360 was a beautiful. The original 360, beautiful. They need to go back, mate. I was seriously considering doing a custom shell for my Xbox, probably just the little white boy, and make it look like a mini 360, kind of like round the edges and stuff. It would probably just slip into a case because honestly, I do not want to tear apart a console because I know I'll break it. All right. Okay, I read that. Excuse me. Okay, a lot of the discourse around Asha's appointment revolves around her tenure at Microsoft's Core AI org, whose mission is to integrate AI features into Azure tools. I didn't know that before. I knew she worked with the Core AI, but I had no idea it was like through Azure, but it makes sense now. Excuse me. I asked Asha how she felt about the artificial intelligence and the discourse regarding that surrounding her appointment at Xbox. She says, quote, "I think that with any new technology, it brings possibilities as a tool, but even more importantly, especially now, we need to draw lines on what we don't want, what we won't do." Words. That's what I attempted to do when I shared my open letter, she explained. I will not flood our ecosystem with slop. We won't have careless output. We won't have derivative work. I deeply believe in the words that I shared previously there. And so I'm like, yo. And how can people take... the thing is, it's like, people are so cynical. And it's like, look, she's... like, ponies and donkey unicorns, they hate Phil Spencer. So they're like, oh, he's lying. But he's a sincere dude. He doesn't lie. He tells the truth. She's new. She's brand new. We don't know how she is, whatever. But she seems sincere to me. Basically, and the two times I saw her speak, I mean, the one time she was an interview, so she wasn't reading a prompter. The second time she was reading a prompter, so that's whatever. That's canned. But the interview, when she's talking to somebody, that's what you gotta watch. And then I was like, my brain was like, it was like dripping out my head because it was just too much. Okay, Matt Booty put the rumors that Microsoft is planning to enforce some kind of AI directive on Xbox from the top, noting the developers are free to use the tools they want. I don't need to. I mean, I guess I could read this because it pertains to like how I went on to the bug fixes and stuff. Yesterday, the last video. We've got no pressure from Microsoft. There is no directives on AI coming down. Our teams are free to use any technologies that might be beneficial, whether it's helping write code or checking for bugs. I said that. Things more in the production line. And at the end of the day, as Asha said, we're committed to art made by peoples. Personas. All right. Just give a bit of... do I want to read this? Are we almost at we're not at oh my gosh, there's more. Let's keep going. Just as a group, Game developers are always eager to adopt new technologies when Photoshop showed them. Okay, this is just like, AI is a tool, basically, blah, blah, blah. You need specialists because, AI is a new thing and all that stuff. So it's I just read that part. The first conversations Asha and I had were the first. Okay, this is what you call it. This is Matt talking. The first conversations Asha and I had when we first met to do all of this. To her credit, she immediately emphasized supporting our studios and our games. Our ecosystem is built to be a portfolio of everything from small games to ongoing franchises to the big blockbusters, where we're built at our core to build everything from Kiln to Call of Duty, everything from Minecraft to South of Midnight. That's core to how we're set up. That said, Xbox thinks of itself as a federation of studios supporting each other, both creatively and technologically. That's a very important thing. I think the best portfolios, I mean, look, I don't know if there's any other things in here that's super important. I guess we could read this last paragraph. I believe this is Asha. Proof over promise, basically. We know that the business has gone through some challenges. I'm going to use my expertise and the leaders that have the deep gaming depth around the table to help us grow the business and make sure that we can have an incredible next 25 years. I will listen, I will learn, I will communicate what we're seeing and what we're doing. I think from here, the work is proof over promise. Matt and I are in it every hour, every day, every night. I am fully in this thing. This team has brought it back before, and I'm here to help us do it again. Once again, a lot of it is PR, quote unquote, but she has not said anything bad. She didn't say something like, "Oh, we have a product for you. It's called the Xbox 360." She didn't say that. She didn't say, I don't know, giant enemy crap. I don't know. She didn't say that. She's using her brains, and she's using the brains of the other people who are the gamers, like Craig Duncan and Matt Booty and whoever else. I think those are kind of the only two. It's Craig Duncan, right? That's his name. He's the Xbox Studios lead, and then Matt is the overall Studios lead. I guess that's Microsoft Game, the CCO of Microsoft Gaming. Is that his title? I don't know. But yeah, basically that's the whole thing, except for this little part in the middle I skipped. But I don't think there's anything in there. But look. There's just so much, like I said in the last video, negativity about her appointment, AI, everybody's scared, blah, blah, blah. But all the things that she's saying, everything even Matt Booty is saying, is backing her up. They're like, boom, they're already in sync. They're ready to go. I'm like, yo, I haven't felt this way about, like, the potential of Xbox evolving, like being kind of like what it was, but also evolving into what it needs to be, which I think is a nice happy medium, because yes, you want to have your game as in as many places as possible to get all that profit, sell all those units. GTA isn't going to be exclusive, so, and it's going to sell a lot of copies. That's the whole point. And these donkey unicorns, these ponies, and Sony know that's what's up. That's the move. And PlayStation is trying to, they're playing this game where they're acting like Xbox doesn't exist, and marketing and all these things. And they're doing a good job because Xbox allowed it to happen. They allowed them to do that. Instead of looking at what PlayStation is doing, instead of taking the anecdotal stories of people who live in the UK and say, yo, like Sean, he's like, yo, I walk out, I look up, PlayStation. I have to go to the other building. Oh no, it was Joey, I think. He's in Panama. It's like, yo, I had to go to the other building and my job, blah, blah, blah. There's a big giant Spider-Man, been up there for 1,000 years. And then they got another big giant, and it's all PlayStation. It's all PlayStation. And it's all PlayStation. And then you go, they just play they have it's a soccer, I don't know who's playing who, but it was a soccer game coming up. And the intro was literally Kratos and Astrobot and freaking the last Joel and Ellie riding a horse into the stadium, and it's like all CG and it looks dope because Sony makes movies. And I'm like, that's why they're worldwide, because they're putting themselves in front of giant audiences, and they're obliterating everyone else because no one sees Xbox. They see Nintendo because that's just, it's ingrained in our DNA at this point. But nobody sees Xbox because Xbox isn't putting themselves out there like that. Now with Asha Sharma, she has a marketing background. People are so focused on AI that they negate. She was marketing. She does, and you could tell by like what she's saying, how she's writing. Even her interactions on Twitter is like, oh, okay, she's okay. If she was in charge of marketing, I'd be like, okay, let's go, because she's got some ideas. I'm just saying, she got a sense of humor. I like it. But anyway, this was a long one. I appreciate y'all hanging out, showing up, listening to my man, like and subscribe. I had to read through the things because I've been slacking in my mic, but I appreciate. And yeah, I mean, this is gonna be an ongoing thing. We'll see day to day how this kind of shapes out. But I think optimistically, I'm gonna be an optimistic guy. I think it's gonna be dope. I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be. This is the beginning of a new console war. I hope y'all realize that, right? The new console war has begun, even though PlayStation will participate in the new console war for years. Because Xbox is coming out with a new console and PlayStation ain't. So that's interesting, right? There's going to be a new console war and PlayStation's not going to be around. Unless Xbox delays, but I don't know if they will. Say they come out in 2027, PlayStation comes out in 2029. Even if it's 2028, if they rush it, it's still like the 360 all over again. It kind of fit deja vu, but I'm just saying. But anyway, I appreciate. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one.